Now, sir, the call we just played, you're talking to how many messages while you and Rabbit were separate in 2014 did she deliver to Rabbit or to Rabbit's people so you all could get on the same page? She never delivered no message about Rabbit, about the case or nothing like that. She didn't talk to Rabbit's girlfriend. They cool. They friends. She didn't say, boy, brother said this about the case. You got to tell Rabbit brother said this, so when he talks to the government, they are saying the same thing. That never happened? No. Are you being honest about that, sir? Not to my knowledge. Let's play. Don't play it yet. Let me just introduce what it is. It's our internal reference tab 152. It's a recorded phone call from you in jail, and it's dated October 18th, 2013. It's to number 504-729. Miles, the internal reference on this call, it doesn't look like a time, but the internal reference is 84657. Let's go ahead and play it. Stop. You said, I know I got to fight it, right? Yes. Rabbit got to get his lawyer too, right? Yes. The words you used was, so y'all can both get on the same, right? That's something. I can explain that to you. No. You used the word same, right? You gonna let me explain? Did you use the word same in that call? Sir, you answer yes or no, but then you can explain. Go ahead. Say it again. Did you use the word same at the end of that call? Same? Same. Yes. Yep. Talking about you and Rabbit getting on the same, right? Yes. Thank you, sir. You said I could explain when I get finished. No. Mr. Rainier can ask you to explain. I'm going to let him explain, counsel. Go ahead and explain. Thank you, Yana. That when October, that's when I wasn't cooperating with the government. That's when Gregory Stewart wrote me a letter and let me know that he's the reason that I'm in jail. He's not going forward with the case, like I said once before. I said I wasn't trusting it. So at that time, I said, alright, I'm going to let him go ahead. We got to get on the same page. That's when the case of Calvin Celestine and Quentin Broussard was in the state, so we was going to fight it. That was before I didn't sign out or plead it out. So this call, according to your explanation, on October 18th, 2013, is you and Rabbit getting on the same page about fighting the case, right? Yes. However, 1 week later, you sign a plea agreement and a factual basis where you plead out to not fight the case, right? Yes, because I say that they had evidence and I wasn't going up on them and I wasn't trusting Gregory Stewart. That's what I said. Because if he get found guilty on a case that him and Evans Lewis was fighting, he going to soon eventually come forward on a case that he said he wasn't going. I wasn't taking a chance. That's when I came forward and told him myself. So you're telling this jury on October 18th, 2013, you were working with Rabbit to get on the same page about fighting a case? Yes. But after October 25th, 2013, a mere 7 days later, with a weekend and a lot of paperwork to do in between, you plead out, and then you and Rabbit are not getting on the same page. Is that what you're telling this jury? Yes. Is that a lie, sir? What? Is that a lie? Not to my understanding. We wasn't going to get on the same page, not far as fighting the government, going into state court and say that we didn't commit them crimes. I pleaded guilty and say I did that. I confessed to them. In terms of getting on the same page that you and Rabbit ultimately got on was to give the government information to indict these 10 men, correct? No. What I meant by the same page was when we was talking about fighting the state case. That's when I said, tell Rabbit he have to get his lawyer, because Rabbit needed his federal lawyer to help fight that case. That's who he was going to hire, and he needed funds. The same page that you and Rabbit were getting on was about getting on the same page to finger these 10 men for all these crimes and save your true friends from the G-strip, who are free men, correct? No. That's the same page you and Rabbit were getting on, right? No. The same page we was getting on was to fight the state case when it first came out. That's the same page you and Rabbit were getting on up until this indictment in the summer of 2015. Correct, sir? Say it again. Yeah. You and Rabbit were getting on the same page, say it again, prior to this indictment, correct? Say it again. You and Rabbit were working to get on the same page since your incarceration prior to this indictment in the summer of 2015, correct, sir? We was not getting on the same page to help indict them guys. We was getting on the same page to fight the case that we had, that I had pending against me when first come to jail, the 2 murders. Since the indictment, which has been superseded many times in the summer of 2015, you and Rabbit have been together in the same tier in St. Charles Parish, correct, sir? We wasn't together the same time. We got around each other, let's say, like October. I came down in July, and me and Gregory got around each other in like October or August, September, something like that. You are aware the government helped facilitate you and Gregory getting on the same tier in St. Charles Parish when the indictment came out. Yes, they asked was we going to have any complications from us telling on each other. Was it going to be a problem? He had to say no, and I say no, and they let us be around each other. Let's pull up tab 126. It's Bates number 55274. Objection, Judge. He didn't write this. I'm sorry? I object to that. That's a document he didn't write. What's the basis for this document? Can he authenticate it? I think he can. I think he can authenticate the underlying facts that are set forth in the document. Well, the fact is one thing, but the document is another. Go ahead, but don't show it. Go ahead and start your cross-examination of him, and I'll take a look at the document. Judge, I object to its publication. He's not showing it. He's not showing it. All right, thanks. He's going to go ahead with his line of questioning, and I'll take a look at the document after that. Do not show the document. Give me 1 second, Your Honor. I want to read from it. Sure. Thank you, Your Honor. Again, just for internal references, it is Bates numbered, produced by the government, Bates numbered 055224. Sir, are you aware that in the summer of 2015, Mr. Maurice Landrew wrote an email on your behalf to the jailers in St. Charles Parish? What day that was? August 26, 2015, right after this indictment came down. Was I aware that he wrote an email to the jail? To the jail because you were in the hole and you wanted to get out of the hole. Do you have a recollection of that, sir? I wasn't aware of that. I was aware that I told Gregory to tell someone to tell Maurice to let me out. Are you aware that Mr. Landrew told the jailer in St. Charles Parish? Objection, hearsay. I'm just asking him if he's aware, Your Honor. Objection overruled. Ask him again. Are you aware that Mr. Landrew, Mr. Rainier's boss, the head of the criminal division in the U.S. Attorney's Office, told the jailer that Franklin and Stewart are cooperators and they should be housed on the same tier? No. You're not aware of that? No, sir. But, in fact, sir, at this point in time, the summer of 2015, you and the rabbit, Gregory Stewart, were cooperators. Correct, sir? Yes, we was. From the summer of 2015 until the current, you guys are housed on the same tier in St. Charles Parish, right? Yes. You're free to have whatever discussions you want, correct? Yes. Thank you, sir. Since you and Rabbit were placed on the same tier in the summer of 2015, right as this indictment came out, thanks to Mr. Landrew, you've had many preparation sessions with the government's team leading up to this trial to talk about your testimony, correct? Talk about the case. Not about my testimony. Talking about the case. Going over questions and information that I gave to them. That's questions and information that Mr. Rainier asked you about on direct examination, correct, sir? Yes. Same information, correct? Yes. So, when you'd have one of those meetings with Mr. Rainier, or Mr. Landrew, or Mr. Ollinger, or Mr. Wood, these men sitting at the table, you were able to go back to the jail, see Rabbit, and tell him everything you talked about with the government, right? Say it again. Yeah. You'd have a meeting. They'd bring you to New Orleans. So they'd go meet with you. They'd bring you back to the St. Charles Parish Jail. That's about a 45-minute ride from here. Correct, sir? Yes. You would then be able to go back after your prep session about the information you just gave on direct testimony and tell Rabbit all about it, right? I would be able to, but I wouldn't. You wouldn't do it? Because the same information I gave them is the same information that he gave them.